Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to the season-long collaboration from Clan Brandalorian and the Galactic Pod Podcast. We are here every week at the moment celebrating and reviewing the show that is Skeleton Crew. But first and foremost, we've got something far, far better to do, which is celebrate a very, very happy birthday to my compadre, to my brother from another mother, Mr. Brandon Clark, Clan Brandalorian. Happy birthday, buddy. It is your birthday today.
Yes, it is my birthday today. Thank you, Andy, for putting that beautiful singing together. I didn't know you sang and recorded your own music. I love the happy birthday cover.
I do have the voice of an angel, clearly.
But yeah, man, it's my birthday today. But you had a birthday before me just a few days ago and 2 days after Christmas. So how was your birthday, man?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was very chill, to be fair. You know, it is 2 days after Christmas, the 27th. So there's not many people around, not a lot to do, to be fair. So it was very much a chill time to sit around and not really do a lot, to be fair. Went out, had a really nice lunch, and just chilled. But how about you, brother? What have you been up to today?
Man, that's good to hear from you, man. I'm glad you enjoyed your birthday. But you know, it's always like Christmas part 2. Essentially having a birthday so close after Christmas, but yeah, it's been good today. Had time with the family, opened some gifts, hung out with my son, of course, so that's different for first birthday with a kid. So I mean, it's a really good time, just hanging out, opening presents, and now we're here to do this collab stream and of course talk about Skeleton Crew after.
Amy on YouTube, happy birthday, Brandon, of course, the birthday boy. So are you a bit like me in the fact that because we have birthdays so close to Christmas, do people try and get away with giving you a joint present? Christmas and birthday?
I have never noticed it. Maybe it would probably be a smart thing to do, just because, most people are broke after Christmas, especially just the entire month of December. So I wouldn't really notice, but maybe that'd be a good way to get away with it. Give an extra gift or so and call it, that was from Christmas, but now it's your birthday.
I banned that practice a long time ago. From the age of about 13 onwards, I'm like, just because they're 2 days apart is not an excuse to buy me a joint present and call it, what would have been a Christmas present and go, here's your birthday present as well. Unless I always let them off the hook if it was very expensive. So I think one year my dad bought me a laptop and I let him off with that as being a joint present. Because I'm like, fair enough, laptops are expensive. I'll let you off on that one. Apart from that, no excuse whatsoever for buying joint presents. You wouldn't do it if it was November. You wouldn't do it if it was like the middle of January. So just because it's 2 days apart, don't think you can get away with being like that. Get me a separate present, for fuck's sake. But right, we are going to do a little present unwrapping. You've got a little present there. I've saved a birthday present from my birthday 5 days ago. So we're going to do a little on-screen unboxing for presents. So do you want to go first, buddy? And show us what you've got and tell us a little bit about who it's from.
All right, this one here, move my mic back a little bit. This is from my wife, Lindsay, and we did presents earlier, of course, and she always likes to say that the gifts she gives me, they're not that big of a deal. To me, I feel like I'm a very, very grateful person. You could give me a pencil, a pack of Expo markers for Christmas. I'll put it to use. I appreciate it. But we have this gift right here. Nice size bag, It's on the it's very unique. One of my presents was in it this morning and she reused it to
Nice.
yes. Thanks for joining, and hopefully
Even the lovely Mrs. Brandon is tuning in for the stream. She wants to know
Yeah.
what you think of your present. So
all right. You know I'll like it, but
no pressure. No pressure with the wife watching.
Okay.
Oh, hello.
Oh man. It's amazing when you ask for something so long ago or you just give them an idea and the gift giver falls through, and of course it's my wife. Wouldn't make any better sense. Check this out.
Oh, hello.
Oh
That is
yeah.
beautiful. That is beautiful.
I actually never noticed Grievous was on it. I thought it was Vader, Palpatine, and Kylo Ren, but Grievous, I like it.
That is gorgeous.
Sweet.
Even Amy's saying it. Nice.
Noise. Hell yeah. Thank you, babe.
Good
Love
job,
you.
Mrs. Brandalorian. Good job. We're loving that here.
Boom.
I've got a present as well, to be fair. It's quite well wrapped by the look of it. So, excuse me for a moment. Let me just. Not that size matters or anything, does it, Brandon?
I guess not.
See if I can get into this bad boy. She has a habit of well wrapping things.
Uh-oh, that's a big box.
Paper. Let's get into this bad boy. Let's see what we've got.
Dun 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 dun.
That's quite fucking Indiana Jones getting into this thing.
The eyes are getting big. What do we got? Oh my god.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
Godzilla. Now this, I know this is no ordinary Godzilla. This is heat ray breath Godzilla. So he's got remote control, so he stomps around and moves. But he also, let me just stop the music for a moment. Because I've got to get the right button here. Let me see if I can work out where it was again. So I've seen this before. There's actually a little bit here that you can put water into. And so basically when you press the button, so he has water vapor come out of his mouth like it's a heat ray thing.
That's
I
dope.
fucking love this.
That's dope.
Where was the thing?
Yes. Hell yes.
I believe once the remote controls are warped on, he like moves his head around and stuff. But thank you to my
Damn.
lovely wife for getting me that for my birthday.
Awesome. Yeah,
Love
that's
that.
a really good. That's a great gift.
Absolutely love that. Because I've got a bit of a Godzilla thing going on. I keep getting pop Funkos for Godzilla.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, absolutely love that. To be fair, I'm see. The thing is, I'm in the new year. I'm doing a massive rearrange of everything behind me because I've got so much extra stuff to fit in. I've got extra helmets that I can't fit in. I've got that Stranger helmet turning up at some point in 2025 to fit in. So there is going to be a lot of stuff to rearrange up there. I've got Marvel statues now and other stuff. So going to be a lot to fit in. It's going to have to be a big rearrange. I've got lightsabers I need to put up that haven't been put up yet for ages. So going to have to be a big rearrange coming of everything behind me. So thank you to my lovely wife for getting that for me. I do really appreciate that.
That's awesome.
I guess for now, though, that ends our sort of birthday celebrations for the time being. Obviously, the birthday party doesn't stop. We're going to keep on rocking for the rest of the day. But very quickly before we move on to what we're going to be chatting about today, my friend, just remember, if you're not following Clan Brandalorian or the Galaxy Core podcast on all of our social media, then please jump over and make sure you do. You can find us both on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube as well. We can also find all of our videos, and you can find our different videos and our under episodes for our different podcasts on YouTube, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere where you can find your lovely podcast. You will find us there. So make sure you're jumping, you're pressing that like button, you're pressing the subscribe button, unless it already says subscribed, which in that case, really good job. I'm proud of you. But we are here to talk about Skeleton Crew, episode 6. This show has been, I feel like it's been needing to build up to something. Well, you tell me what you thought first of all before I jump in, because you're Mr. Positivity, and I need to hear something good from you, because I've got a feeling I'm not going to be that positive about this week's episode.
Actually, once again, I watched it real late last night, got the first 10 minutes, fell asleep, and I woke up and resumed it this morning. Another slow episode. I understand that it's for the kids. It wasn't my favorite episode. I'd probably say it's maybe the second worst episode. I thought it had some good points to it, but overall it was just a kids believing themselves kind of story for this time being. But I did love everything choreography wise. Got Bryce Dallas Howard once again back in the Lucasfilm area, and she went ahead and got her an episode in. Really loved that. But for the most part, I think it was just kind of a little another filler episode.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, I'm almost done with this show now, to be honest, because it's like, it's just not gone anywhere, really. It's like that classic thing that seems to be the new era for Marvel and Star Wars, is that you kind of just leave everything to the last episode and then try to resolve it there, and it takes ages to get there, and you haven't really told as much stories you could have done in all of this. Normally about halfway through the series, we get like a really big episode, and I'm not sure we really got that so far. This just did feel like a completely filler episode. In fact, they didn't really go anywhere at all in this episode, like literally almost as well. They didn't even they barely even didn't leave the planet till right at the very end. So yeah, I was sat there going, I'm kind of bored with Skeleton Crew right now. And even my lovely wife, who loves pirates, it says they've made pirates dull, which in this episode they did, unfortunately. Yeah, this was all about the kids sort of realizing that they need each other and that they can help each other in different ways. But at the same point, yeah, I just don't really feel they went anywhere. And when you've got limited series episodes, you've got to do something with every episode, and this just wasn't there. Especially the ending to last week's episode was great. Them finding what's going on with that Atin, the whole pirate theme to it, Jod's taking control and getting his lightsaber, and then you follow it up kind of with nothing really.
Yeah.
It just doesn't, it's just not hitting the mark for me at the moment. No matter what anyone else feels about any other Star Wars series, whether they like it or hate it, this is the first one I've ever sat down and gone, I'm kind of bored. It's sad. The day's finally come when I said that about Star Wars. I'm a little bit bored with this series, and I don't see how it's been worth making and how it connects into the larger universe at the moment. So they've really got to pull it out the bag in these last 2 episodes. Otherwise, it kind of feels like it's been the journey hasn't been worth the viewing time so far.
Yeah, and it's also just kind of like, okay, Jod gets captured by the pirates, who I thought just got ate alive by acid. In the episode before. So they came back, and I was like, okay, cool. I can live with that. It's not like they brought back a mysterious Sith that died a long time ago, and they're back again, which even with that I'm okay with, but that's besides the point. But I do think the story didn't really move, and the kids going down the trap door, I thought they were going to get more likely into a different part of the kind of like the bunker. Maybe they went into a different spot instead of just getting thrown out some pipes into a like a dump, kind of like all the trash, like crabs or whatever. Those were cool, I guess. But it was just kind of like, oh, here's a big monster that the kids have to get away from for 5 seconds, and then I guess the coolest And then, oh yeah, also when Jod gets captured by the pirates and is talking to Brutus and is trying to persuade everybody that he has a larger treasure where everyone can get a piece, and it's just like, I know you got your, you got stripped of your weapons, but like, where's that lightsaber? And they're
Mm,
so these pirates just confiscated a lightsaber and like nothing's going on. Maybe I don't know. I think that on top of I mean, the Jedi aren't, much of anything for these last 7, 8 years, post Return of the Jedi. So seeing a lightsaber, you'd think, or maybe they're dumb and haven't been around Jedi like that. But at the same time, I think it's just a relevant part of the story. It would have been cool to see Brutus holding the lightsaber. Like, yeah, you
mm.
found this down there. So maybe that could have gave them a key to like, oh, maybe he knows what he's talking about. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I've got issues with the pirates escaping the acid sort of bit. I don't know. There's no explanation to it as to how. Okay, I don't think they maybe showed everyone that arrived there because maybe it was just that one dude that escaped, like the dude that looks like a mod from Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Maybe he's the one that escaped and the others got killed because he didn't really see too many others. But it was the same two ships that arrived in the other episode. So how they escape the acid, I really don't know. That seemed like a bit of a faux pas to me. Without when you don't explain it and they just show up anyway. So,
Yeah.
I mean, let's run through some of maybe the Easter eggs and stuff like that for this episode. Says here that there's maybe a bit of a nod to the Grinch. So the kids going down the trap chute door felt a bit like maybe Luke Skywalker going down the trap chute in Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
But it could be a bit of a homage to Ron Howard's The Grinch Who Stole Christmas with the trash chute to Mount Crumpet, and also with Bryce Dallas Howard directing the episode. Maybe a bit
Oh,
of
yeah.
a father's work on the Grinch there. So
Yeah, for sure.
we had KB's augments or augmentations. I've seen a few people obviously comparing this to Lobot from Empire Strikes Back. Obviously, your boy Lando's right hand man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how quickly you can make something like that. I mean, my wife is someone who builds tech stuff for a living, so she was complaining a little bit about that mold in the sand would never hold. You can't just do that. He wouldn't be able to hold that and burn his hand. So I'm just getting she's just saying these sort of things through the episode going on. But, obviously, Jod getting caught with all the treasure around his neck really does parallel Smee in Captain Hook because. He was caught with a bunch of treasure as well, wasn't he? So, I mean, lots of pirate references, to be fair, in this episode, far more as the episode went on. We did see so many of them with some of the comments like "you build rats," which is a famous sort of pirate one, up to where's the bit? Sorry, I'm just trying to look through my notes to find it. The words of a dead man are worthless, which is like a Pirates of the Caribbean nod, being obviously Disney. Having a shanty for Captain Renaud and the Onyx Cinder. Following the trash cabs was obviously another bit of a Pirates of the Caribbean nod. And even like the where is it? Oh, fuck me. Sorry, I've lost some of the bits of my notes I was looking at. But yeah, anyway, lots of pirate bits sort of throughout this episode. And they really have lent into that over the last few episodes as well, haven't they? With everything that's going on there. That was it. The right of the last appeal, establishing the Pirates Code does exist in the Star Wars universe as well, which is kind of cool, to be fair. And sort of death by airlock seems to be like the Star Wars version of walk the plank. So you don't really get a choice. You know you're going to die. But there was an interesting one that I want to get your thoughts on, which was like the fact that they called him the Mad Captain Silvo. So this serves to make his name even more piratey. And it sort of maybe thought of that they called him Mad after he promised one too many big scores and didn't really follow through, like we see at the beginning of the very first episode. So, what are your thoughts on Silvo or Jod's big speech and trying to get everyone on board, and the fact that obviously Brutus kind of did go for it, but he's like, if it's not there, you're fucking dead.
Yeah. Well, it seems like he's, fucked them over once or twice before. So maybe he's just like, hey, this is your last time. This is all you get. I do like the fact that Brutus is actually being this big force so far, especially towards Jod, because after last episode, I was like, okay, so is this guy really gonna betray the kids? Is he gonna get the kids back? Like, what's this setting up? But yeah, I love that dynamic that we're putting a bigger character on the line. So for the most part, I think it was kind of a good take. I think Brutus basically giving him the one more chance to get this right can definitely foreshadow and maybe tell his past, and maybe hooking them up a few times before, getting them in a good situation, but then, ultimately screws it all up. And I mean, clearly all of the pirates that he was talking to were kind of leaning into, what he was talking about. And then of course, once he showed one of the credits, and that kind of gave everyone a spark and some life into thinking, maybe this life is cut out for me. Let's go and try to, settle the biggest score, as Jod was saying. But you could tell with Brutus, he's really not having it, but he knows, seeing and hearing about the Ranod, the old pirate, understanding that he was mentioning that he had talked to him, even though he had, just seen like a kind of like a bitsy hologram of him before. So I guess that kind of helps out the situation a lot more for Jod. But if they get to and maybe he turns on all of them one more time, and that's kind of what it's looking like, how it's going to end.
Yeah, I can't see him not trying to double cross them again, because he obviously wants it for himself, and obviously telling everyone they can have as much as they want. I did love that bit of the speech though, where he's like, Brutus makes a fine first mate, but under his command, you only get a meager reward. So nice ways to like twist it in a little bit and go, yeah, you're okay as a backup captain, but you're not really a good captain, are you? Because you can't really provide for your team. Although Amy has an interesting comment. She's like, John will challenge a child for leadership, but not Brutus.
That's true.
Because I think the only way he beats Brutus is using his force abilities, which, by the look of it, he doesn't really want to reveal to the crew. I didn't think at this point he's ever really revealed them. Otherwise, they would know. I doubt they would challenge him otherwise, because he would just use the force to snap a neck or something like that. So I think he keeps that quite under his belt. But couple of other bits just to get your opinion on, I think. So the trash crabs, as you mentioned, they were quite cool, although obviously a bit sinister. Star Wars, I was going to say obsession, maybe not obsession, but Star Wars love of getting things in trash areas continues, because obviously, the trash compactor scene from A New Hope, a certain ex-Sith Lord that was trapped on a trash world for like 10 years and going mad before his brother rescued him, aka Mr. Darth Maul. And then obviously now here the kids get kicked out a trash dump, so to speak. And Star Wars love of trash heaps continues, which is lovely. The interesting one, I think, is when we get when they've taken Jod back to the pirate space station. The space station itself looked pretty familiar. So it looked very much like Ranzar Malk's space station from season 1 of The Mandalorian. The episode where they board the New Republic cruiser and free the Twilight guy, and then go back to there. It looks very similar to that, but it also has a striking resemblance to one of the Galactic Republic's orbital medical stations used during the Clone Wars. So people are wondering if maybe they've taken over those and repurposed them for their own usage, or whether it's just a similar design. I don't know if you had any thoughts on that.
No, that's pretty interesting. I didn't even really catch that. I did notice though that the like where they got Mayfeld and Zan from that episode in The Mandalorian, it kind of did look familiar in that sense, kind of more of like a jail / prison, like a galactic prison. Yeah, I kind of got a hint of it, but yeah, I didn't really think about the Clone Wars and that connection. So that's pretty cool.
And then what about the hunk of junk ship getting a bit of a makeover at the end? So,
man, it was very interesting. I was like, okay, are the kids about to just blow the ship up and now they don't have a ship? That's what I was thinking first off when they hit the button. Obviously getting that kid sense to where Neil and Fern were just staring at each other, and it was just more of Neil saying do it without saying anything. But that was cool when they turned the button, but that wasn't what I was expecting. My first thoughts though was that it kind of looked like Darth Maul's Sith infiltrator. ship,
Yeah, I
but
can see there
then
is a
it
lot.
also kind of looked like the mantis, but without the tall piece that sticks straight up. It kind of had
Okay, yeah, I see that.
that flat look to it, flat long look. So at first I was like, oh wow, is there some like work that has been done either with people who made the mantis ships like that or the scimitar? So I mean, I thought it looked really clean, pristine. I loved the look of it, but that's just another thing that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, definitely. I was like, are they just going to blow part of the ship off to try and free themselves? Or yeah, I didn't know it was going to go on to have an entire like extra outside hull just blow off and reveal the shiny new ship underneath.
Yeah.
Um, Very unexpected, but obviously it said here that KB she knew the coordinates to Atatin. The pirates are heading there, so everyone's going to be meeting up for the final episode or two. But what part do you think the kids have got to play in this finale? Because obviously they're going to make their way home as well. I'm just not sure what role they've got to play in this because once they get back home, their parents are obviously going to be involved, and we've yet to see anything of the oh god, I can't even remember their name now. It's been a couple of episodes. Whoever's in charge at Asatin, the
The
supervisor was it?
supervisor, yeah. I don't
So
know.
that was because that was ominously played at us for a couple of episodes, and then we've heard nothing more about it, really. So I was expecting to see more about what the parents are up to in this episode, given that they've started building that up a bit more as well, but with the whole thing of the supervisor, and then to not have even a hint of it in this episode was again a bit disappointing. But so yeah, I mean, what do we do with the kids in these last couple of episodes? Because they're obviously lining them up to have some sort of role to play in stopping the pirates or taking over Atatin or anything like that. But I don't really know what more they can do at this point.
Yeah, and the only thing that I can think of is once the kids get home, get to their parents, they might do like one last stand to where they're gonna try to get because obviously the pirates are gonna get there and start overtaking At-Atin and trying to get to the bottom of like the mints or even treasure that is also hidden there. Um, but at the same time, I just like what the kids are going to get back with Jod again, and help him get out. But ultimately, he turned on the kids, and that's kind of what I had in my notes here is that him turning and wanting to, be we already know he's using the kids. It's one of those things.
Yeah.
He's kind of slimy, and that's just what he's doing. It's what he did. And then once he got to treasure, he just knew that At-Atin was really the next step. If he got a little bit of cash here, then he's really going to go get a lot more. So it's going to be one of those things where it's like either it's really going to make me make sense of all of it, or it's just going to be rushed all at the end to where the kids help Jod now, they forgive him, and then they beat the pirates, make the pirates the main the main villains as they should be. I feel like they should be just a little bit more heavily involved with the plot.
Mm.
Maybe on the kids tail end the entire series. But I actually got to thinking with the ship, kind of getting that exoskeleton off of the original ship. I wonder if Ranod was using that in case he was ever getting followed by anyone. He was able to then hit that button and his ship would then become unrecognizable. That's really all I could think of.
I think that's a good point actually. I hadn't thought about that in terms of if you want to get away from someone and they recognize your ship, then just blow the extra hull off and have a completely brand new looking different ship.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I mean, there seems to be a lot still to wrap up in these last few episodes. Like I said, like we said earlier, they seem to be leaving. So this new modern trend of leaving everything to normally the last episode, and then it being still like 35 minutes long and not long enough to wrap everything up properly. But I mean, we've basically got the situation with Jod, who we still don't really know too much about him, and all the different names that he seems to have. What's going on with the pirates that he's obviously with? I can't believe for a minute that they left behind Renaud's lair full of treasure either.
Yeah.
When Jod was like, "There's more treasure down there than you could possibly imagine. We can share it," and they're like, "Nope, you're coming with us because we would rather see you dead than get an entire massive score that you've been promising us for years." That seemed a bit odd. Obviously, they're wrapping up with the kids situation with the supervisor and the parents back home, and what's going on with that Aten itself as a hidden planet. Also, I guess the New Republic have a part to play in this because we saw the X-Wings turn up again in this episode. And I've been looking through the cast list and the people that still have there's a couple of people that have roles to play that haven't shown up yet. So either the cast list is false and it's lying to me about who's still to come in this series, or they're saving some big things for the end. I mean, we've got Jaleel White is playing Gunter that we've already seen in what was it, The Mandalorian. So he's got a role to play from the New Republic. We've already talked about how we want someone like Carson Taver to show up, whether he will or not, to like interconnect things.
Absolutely.
We're not sure. But there is, according to the cast list, there's an actress called Hayley Webb who's supposed to be playing some sort of Jedi. She's on the cast list, so I don't know if that's a false thing or whether they've just crossed something over from a different series. But the fact that there's a Jedi on the cast list, I can't believe we would have an unknown Jedi show up at this point, because that would just throw something completely different into the mix. Or whether it's a former Jedi that knows Jod and has somehow like managed to track him down and show up. So
interesting.
Yeah, I was just looking at it just to see if it would give me a bit more information about the Jedi that she's playing, but it doesn't really, unfortunately.
Damn, that's interesting. I wonder, who could it be? Or it's just
because
a
it doesn't
new,
give me
a
the
new.
full. It says Hayley Webb playing Jedi Nina Narwood. Now, is the surname similar to Jod's surname? Because his surname is Narwood, Jod Narwood. So Jedi Nina Narwood, possibly a sister or a mother that was also a Jedi.
Well,
or maybe we see a flashback.
Yeah. Huh. Wow. Interesting. What's that kind of opens up a lot more, but that I feel like that would have to be the next episode, because the last episode they're gonna have to at least somehow wrap up the story, unless they're getting a season 2, or if it's gonna lead directly into something in the in the Mandalorian, Ahsoka. I don't think they're doing Book of Boba Fett again. So I mean, the Mando and Grogu film, I don't know. That's going to be very interesting.
It seems like it has to be a flashback because the actress is only 39 in real life, so there's no way that she would turn up and play like his mum, for example. They would obviously pick an older actress to do that. So I think this is going to be, if she is in it, then she's going to be as a flashback of maybe his mum like got pregnant somehow and had him, and he was brought in by the Jedi as well, or maybe he wasn't. So who knows, to be fair. But yeah, it was just caught my eye because I always have the cast list up when we're talking about these episodes, just in case I forget a name here or there. And yeah, it was just bugging me that she's on the cast. She's been on the cast list and hasn't shown up yet, but shares the same surname as Jod. So
maybe his mom was a Jedi, survived Order 66, went off, or I don't know, man. It's so weird because
it's
you're
been
messing
about
with timeline too.
Yeah, it's been about 30-35 years since Order 66 at this point, isn't it? So like, I was thinking Yod is maybe is a touch older than that. Like I would have said he's in his 40s anyway, because Jude Law's 51. So you have to assume he's going to be a similar sort of age. You could maybe minus 5, 6, 7 years off that age to sort of keep him in that age range. So yeah, I'm wondering if that, it says he's a survivor of Order 66. So like maybe she had a baby, it was given to someone else, but because he had Force powers, it was taken in by the Jedi, or he didn't actually, and he survived Order 66 as we've talked about before, as a young Padawan or something like that, or as a kid. Or maybe she had him and gave him away. She was killed during Order 66, or Highlander. She was killed during Order 66, but he never really joined the Jedi Order in the end.
Yeah, that would be a good look. I think I had a small theory before that Jod was one of the kids that was taking in for like Project Necromancer, for say, like Palpatine kidnapped him, so that could explain, his age and why he's a little older. And then maybe this Jedi took him in, and that's why he has Nawood. And I mean, obviously he's a pirate, so he's going to be kind of scummy. So that's why he has different personas. But I mean, the Nawood could have just been just another name that he picked up. But that's just what he goes by, since, the Jedi mother or even sister, whatever's going on, that's kind of how the connection's made. I think that'd be pretty cool. I didn't even know about the Nawood female character until you mentioned it.
Like I said, it's been bugging me for a few weeks because I see her on the cast list. Like I said, sometimes they throw people on these cast lists and they're not genuine, or they don't really have a role to play. But it's just the fact that it's been on there. It's sort of after the main string of characters, so I was maybe expecting her to show up at some point. But given her age, if does show up, it seems more likely to be some sort of flashback episode. So yeah, hopefully we get that in the next episode anyway. Um, I mean, one character I want to mention because I don't know why they were lauded to be in this series so much because we've barely seen them. But Vane, we did see him very briefly in this episode. But what the? This dude was like he survives the Mandalorian and the attack on Swamp Thing in Mandalorian season 3. I can Gorian Shard, that's
Gorian
it.
Shard, yeah.
And then they're like, he's showing up in this series, so it's all sort of crossover and connected. And then he's barely been in it, man.
I know they even, like I said, like in the first couple weeks, they made a pirate snub fighter Lego for Mando 3, and he's one of the 2 minifigs. So I mean, to go out of their way and make a new mold and a new sketch and piece art on this minifig for Vane, I mean, I don't know, man. And at least they zoomed in on his face a little bit. When they were showing the one lady who was like, okay, well, is it going to work this time? They kind of zoomed in on her, and then of course Vane in the background. But I think he had like 1 or 2 sentences of dialogue in this episode, and it's just like, man, Nyctos are cool, like give him a brighter light. And Gorian Shard to me is a little more scarier than Brutus, in my opinion, just looks wise. I mean, Brutus hasn't done anything where it's just like, oh, that's a bad guy. You just know he's the bad guy, but I don't know. Interesting.
Do you own that little snub fighter with him as a minifigure?
Yeah, I have it. Yeah.
Do you think that of all the Lego minifigures that you own, he is he's the most least used character that you've got as a Lego minifigure from Star Wars? Because he was obviously a part player in 1 episode of The Mandalorian, and he has been in like 2 episodes of this with very minimal parts. So, do you have a Lego minifigure for a character that's made the least amount of appearances than him?
I don't think so. It would probably be him or Sloane. She came with the TIE bomber. I don't know. I think she's Admiral Sloane, I believe.
From the Battlefront 2 story.
Yeah, I mean that's where she gets most of her shine, but at the same time, it's just like, I mean, she's just in there. Or I guess Reva too, with how much people hate Reva. She
played a significant part though.
Hey, yeah, she did. She really did. I enjoyed.
Unlike Vane, who's doing nothing.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess it's all point of view, but yeah, definitely.
Anything else you want to mention about this week's episode?
I think that was it. I didn't really have too much just because I knew this episode was just what it was. I mean, there really wasn't too much that went on. Yeah, didn't even really have too much to mention with Neil this week. I feel like his episode was last week or 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I know that they were trying to give the kids a bit of a story, especially like the friendship between, say, Fern and KB a bit of a go. Or realize how important they are to each other, but it just felt like, as you said, it was definitely a filler episode, and nothing really worthy of the contribution to the series so far. They could have wrapped that a little bit up in like 10 minutes and carried on with the story. So
yeah.
Next week, episode 7, penultimate episode. I really hope they go hard. They need to. This is. I've never been bored in a Star Wars series in my life, and I'm unfortunately a little bit like that at the moment, which is a shame. I kind of want to cry when I say that because I've never had to say that about Star Wars before. It kind of makes me cry a little bit. That's the situation. Yeah, I mean, tell the people where we can find you in the meantime if they want to come and see any of your other vids. They should know by now, but let them know anyway.
Yeah, come on, guys. Absolutely. Clan Brandalorian, YouTube and Instagram. Go follow if you're not already. Subscribe if you haven't already. 50 subs from 500, and we're gonna do a 3-winner giveaway. And 50 more subscribers, 51. So I mean, we're almost right there. But yeah, absolutely awesome for the birthday stream. just the best birthday present on the world would be some subscribes from you guys. So make sure you go do that. Andy, on the other side across the pond, where can everyone find you?
So, as I mentioned at the beginning, the social media you can find Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Obviously, you can find the episodes across YouTube in the YouTube live section. I think I'm up to about 60 episodes, or this might be 61. I've just done every episode of Marvel's What If every single day that it came out. So there's 9 mini episodes you can go and look at as well. Another unfortunate, disappointing series. So I really need something good to talk about in the next few weeks. But yeah, YouTube, Twitch, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you can find a podcast, you should be able to find Galactical Podcast. A couple of weeks to go. We are going to be back Wednesday next week with episode 7, around about the similar sort of time, I suspect, because we're pretty consistent with doing that at the moment. I guess that's pretty it for this time. Brandon, happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you.
Have a really good evening. Go and celebrate with your wife, your son, your cat, whoever else you're going to be seeing tonight. And we will see you all next week. But of course, everyone, until then,
the Force will be with you, always. The Force will be with you